Okay, everybody, hello. I'm back to finish up the shaping portion of the process, which I skipped in my long video, Doug's sourdough bread, Doug's way. So what I'm going to do is what every other person that's done a video does. But I'm going to show you my way. I have a dough scraper. So this was a fancy one I got because mine's in storage, and I got this at Williams-Sonoma. I think I paid $10 for it. But if you go to the Dollar Tree, they have them for $1. Not this nice, but sufficient. You can also go to Home Depot or Miner's Ace Hardware. Again, I'm not getting paid yet, and get a drywall spatula, drywall spreader, depending on how big a tool you like to handle. So here we go. So the dough just finished a 2-hour bulk fermentation. So when it started, it was down here. It's nice. You see all the air bubbles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this out onto the table on the counter, marble counter I got. You can do it on a wood one for mica, whatever you got. But I don't put any flour on it because I kind of want it to stick. I'm going to put a little bit of dusting flour, which I use half white rice flour and half whole wheat flour, so there's no gluten, right? So here we go. We'll toss the dough out. Now the smooth side is on the bottom, which is really going to be the top of the crust, so you want to keep that in mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to eyeball it because it's not that big a deal, right? So this one's a little thicker, this one's a little wider. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this up so that now the smooth part is on the outside. Then what I'm going to do is with the dough knife, I'm just going to push. And see how it starts to get tight on top? Push, and push, and push, and push. All right? See the bubbles? So this is, you want to pop all those little bubbles. There we go. Okay? So you just want to kind of get it nice and tight here. And this is for, now we're going to do another bulk ferment. Let me do another one. So watch. We're going to flip it over. We're going to push and push and push. That's my buddy over there, Santiago. Push, right? And get it. You don't want to knock too much of the air out, right? But you see the bubbles? I don't know if you can see the bubbles all that well. But there you go. So now this is going to go into what's called a bench rest phase. So now this is going to be the outer crust of the dough. Just going to take a little bit of dusting flour and put it on top. I'm going to cover this with my rags right here, and I'm going to let it sit for about 45 minutes. It's going to kind of pancake out, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do the final shaping and put them in the baskets. Okay, I'm going to pause now. All right, everybody, we're back. And now we're going to do the final shaping. I've got my bowls. I got my towels. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the towel and cover it. We're then going to take the coating flour and just put a nice even coating right there. Okay, that's one. That's two. Sorry, I got my belly in the way there. Okay, so here we go. So now I've got the dough. You'll notice, I don't know if you can see, there's bubbles in here. What we're going to do is we're going to take the knife. We're going to turn it over. Okay? See that? We're then going to just take a side. We're going to stretch, fold it over halfway. Okay? And we're going to stretch See how smooth that is? And we're going to stretch. Okay. And then we're going to stretch. So there. So now we've got the dough, and we're going to take the dough knife and very gently turn it. Okay, we're going to pop any big bubbles on the outside. Okay, we're going to let it sit there. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. We're going to pick it up, stretch, 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 stretch. Now what that does is it gives you a nice smooth surface, and that gives you some tension on the outside of the dough. And that means that your bread's going to keep a nice shape, okay? So then we're going to take the basket, we're going to turn that over and drop it in there. Sometimes you get, see how the folds didn't quite close, so what I'll do sometimes is I will just gather it up into the middle. You don't want to degas it very much or at all, because that's where your nice open crumb is going to come from. Okay, so there's that one. And then we take this one, same thing, put it inside the dusted basket, and you can kind of give it another little tight shaping here. Okay, give it a nice pinch on top. Then what I do is I take the coating flour again and just very lightly coat it around the edges, so when it rises it doesn't stick. And there you go. That's about what it should look like. Okay, there you go. Then at this point, you can either put it in a big Ziploc baggie. If you got a big one, you can wrap it in plastic wrap. I'm just going to put another one of my towels on top. Now, I'm going to let it sit on the counter to start to get keep the activity going, start to get some volume. And you can do one of two things. You can leave it out now for about 3.5, 4 hours, and then it'll be ready to bake. So at 2.5 hours, turn on your oven and put your cast iron pots in the oven to get hot at 500 degrees. It should be on at 500 for 35, 40 minutes to get the pot hot all the way through, because when you pull it out, it's going to cool down. So a little bit. So you want it to be hot. And then at the 3.5, 4 hour mark, then you want to put the bread in there, and I'll do that video separately and attach it to this one and post it on Facebook, on YouTube. All right, so there we go. That's your final shaping. That's how you do a round one. That's what we're going to do. And just do it round. Keep it simple. All right. You want to get some advanced ones, there's a couple of really good guys on YouTube, and eventually I'll get there. All right, thanks for joining. Don't forget, like it, subscribe, whatever side they're on, and we'll see